I hope it doesn't sound something like a cliche if I say that 2020 was an unprecedented year for us. Certainly really challenging. When I look back and I think about how quickly we had to develop and deploy product, certainly in terms of making sure Kiwis had access to those essential items during level 4 lockdown, but equally making sure that sellers, weren't selling non-essential items on site was a huge body of work that we had to get out the door really, really quickly. We had to support those same sellers as we moved down the alert levels to make sure that they, had access to contactless delivery systems, just to ensure that Kiwis could always find, what they were looking for on site. I think 2020 is not necessarily something I'd want to repeat, but I think we certainly learnt a lot. If I had a key takeaway from last year, I would probably say adaptation. We were able to see that those businesses who could see the changing consumer behavior and get out in front of it were able to really sort of get success quite quickly from that. Obviously Black Friday kind of heralds the start of the Q4 retailing period, and I think in New Zealand that's becoming, a more and more important sales day for retailers. Consumers are becoming savvy in terms of knowing that there are going to be great deals available on Black Friday. 55% of the people we've spoken to actually had their Christmas shopping complete, done, wrapped under the tree by December the 1st. Anecdotally, I think that's because, having gone through that difficult winter, it was a real shot in the arm to know that, we didn't have COVID in the community in New Zealand. We were going to be able to spend Christmas with our loved ones and our families, and so people wanted to get into that feel-good factor as early as possible. So I think it's fair to say that, with overseas travel off the agenda, certainly for the medium term, a lot of New Zealand families have potentially got a little more discretionary spend at the moment, and we're seeing that sort of translate into the types of items they're buying on the marketplace, more of those big-ticket items that are seen as an investment, be it a family washing machine, an e-bike, or even a new cell phone. Now, because of the number of people who've moved over to e-commerce and are comfortable with it, I think, one of the things we saw with COVID is it's potentially sort of fast-tracked that evolution. I think the outlook's really positive for 2021. If I look at what's going to become important this year, I think that omni-channel experience is going to become the new normal. Brands and retailers are going to want the same experience for their consumers, whether it's on their own digital channels, whether it's on social media, or whether it's on a third party like TradeMe. We've recently undertaken a survey, and from those people that we spoke to, 50% of them said that they were now more likely to want to source goods from domestic retailers than they were from international retailers, certainly pre the lockdowns. I think sustainability is going to be a key converter for this year ahead. I think consumers are more aware than ever of the ecological footprint that their purchases have. I think everything across the supply chain, from production right through to packaging, is going to provide you with a USP over your competitors if you can kind of prove your green credentials. I think we're going to see an increase in AI and AR adoption. With COVID accelerating the move to online, I think a lot of consumers, will look to embrace that technology. It really bridges the last advantage that bricks and mortar retail has over the online space. If you think, you get to see how that kettle and toaster set looks in your kitchen, or, you have the ability to understand how more complex machinery and complex purchases work prior to buying, that really is something that you only previously had in store. And by removing that, I think, you're just going to see e-commerce continue to explode.